just looking at the shots now, yeah, I see they pulled away a little bit. Maybe that'll be the fastest lap coming up, but Hudson's very, very aware that Walker's sitting right behind him, so he's looking at his board. I'm looking over and he's getting good pit signals here, but I think he is actually trying as hard as he possibly can at the minute to make a break. He's not biding his time. He wants to get away from Walker, and as you say, he doesn't want the swap paint work anymore at the minute.
Well, we'll be keeping an eye on him. Thanks, Jeremy, very much. We'll be getting back to you on the balcony, looking over the start and finish line. Sky Sports have got every angle covered this weekend. So, Hodgson it is. Fastest lap was set by Hodgson on lap 2 in 1 minute 22, which belies what we're seeing at the minute. Maybe Hodgson is calm, collected. 1:22.9 was his last lap round, but you've got to look back. 5 seconds behind Reynolds is his lot. That's the big distance. We don't often see that in British Superbike. Normally they're all something like on the pace, but here just hasn't happened. The front three are really going at it, hammer and tong.
Is it the nature of the track that's exacerbating that?
Well, you know the old theory that you like to smack me with now and again. If you've got big long straights, it makes for great racing here. There's a lot of technical stuff to get around. Also, it's been very difficult in qualifying.
The conditions have been
very wet conditions in Friday's free practice, and of course when we got to qualifying too, there were spits of rain. It's just not been a great weekend. It's been what I would call a typical Silverstone weekend.
Yep, I know what you mean, Keith. And Reynolds, underlying what Jeremy McWilliams said, is now over 2 seconds down on the leader. So in the past couple of laps, John has slipped back over 1.5 seconds.
Which is amazing, because he must have made a bit of a mistake somewhere here. He's 2 seconds down, I think, on what we're looking at now, compared with Walker and Hodgson. And they're all doing the same kind of times. They're all in the 1:23. So Reynolds, he's obviously struggling, but at the moment, I can't quite pick up why.
Now, all of a sudden, there was a gap, Keith. I think there must have been a moment out of sight.
Dear me.
Is that Craggill?
Marty Craggill, yeah, it's Marty Craggill, the big, lanky frame of Marty Craggill. Well, he had a great a debut ride on the Team Kawasaki bike at Snellerton, dumped it in race 2 at Snellerton, and now we've got a machine failure for him. It looks like a machine failure anyway for Marty Craggill. So, Craggill out.
The double Australian Superbike champion exits, and now look at the gap Hodgson's pulling.
I'll tell you what, Plater too is in 4th place. Plater is riding very good on the Kawasaki. We can't ignore him. So, Hodgson with a bit of a gap over Walker. Neil Hodgson, keeping it all smooth, keeping his tyres together, looking very good. Here's Reynolds in 3rd place, slipping back now, consolidating that 3rd place. When he finished 3rd in the first race at Snellerton, the last round, he was Mr. Unhappy. In fact, I can't remember seeing John Reynolds so unhappy outside of being cut up or crashing.
Yeah, I know, but John's always a guy who's got cracked up by a race. Now then.
4th place,
here he is.
Steve Plater. Steve Plater, one of the most likeable men, the likeable Lincolnshire man, in 4th place in front of Neil Mackenzie and Steve Hislop. Hislop has slipped back now into 6th place. 7th place is Hayden. Crawford is in 8th place. 9th is Sean Emmett. Paul Young is in 10th place. Jamie Toseland down in 11th place. Not a happy day for him at all. And leading the privateers is Dave Hill. That old Dave Hill then in front of John Crockford, Gordon Blackley and Davey Wood. They are the top 4 in the privateer battle.
And Dave Hill, he came up and said, anyway, what are you calling me in Snetterton? He was having a dispute with you, talking about his age.
Well, look at this. I mean,
Mackenzie.
I don't know whether to say age before beauty here. It's not quite yet, but it might be if Neil gets in front of Steve Plater. So, Neil Mackenzie, well, this man has been there and done that. I'm talking about Neil Mackenzie on bike number 7. He's 38 years old now. And he has been absolutely brilliant throughout his Grand Prix career. He has been 3 times a British champion, British Superbike champion. He could ride around all day at the pace he's on at the moment. He's just feeling his way with the Ducati this year. We're at the half distance in the season, and expect Neil Mackenzie to start getting right on the pace towards the end of the season.
And before Jeremy Williams got on the rostrum at Mugello on the Aprilia V-Twin a month ago, Neil was the last Briton on a 500cc Grand Prix rostrum. Donington Park, 93.
Well, that says something about Grand Prix racing. We need more Brits out in it, I think.
It also says something about Neil Mackenzie, I feel. He was our best rider at Grand Prix for years, Keith, wasn't he?
Taking anything away from Neil Mackenzie. What I am saying is that we haven't had too many good Brits out in the Grand Prix since Neil Mackenzie.
Very true.
Williams accepted, of course.
Very true.
And of course, it comes down a lot to machinery. Neil was fortunate enough to be able to ride for what was quite a good works team at the time.
More than one of them.
Indeed. So then, we are looking at the Steve Plater Neil Mackenzie battle, and that looked to me like Hayden was sneaking back up on him. Hayden down, well, he's got a bit of an ankle injury after a big off at Coram Curve, 120 mile an hour crash at Snellerton last week. Yes, meanwhile, Hodgson, I can tell you, now has a 0.7 of a second lead over Chris Walker, and 4 seconds further back is John Reynolds. So John Reynolds really in third place. He's going to make the podium, but really he's 8 seconds in front of this Plater battle. So really John Reynolds having a party all on his own. He won't be spending a lot of money on booze, will he?
What do you think has hit him, Keith? Tyre trouble or a gearbox problem, or what would you think?
Oh, really, it's got to be. I've got to say that there must be some kind of tyre situation here that's developed throughout this race. I don't know what compounds they've gone on. I haven't been down there. Commentary position's a long way from pit lane. We'll have to try and find that out from Claire Smith if we can in a little while, or maybe even Johnny Green talking about spare tyres. Anyway,
okay.
Sorry. Neil Mackenzie's gone in front of Plater, so Neil Mackenzie has foxed his way past Steve Plater. Steve Plater's got a battle on his hands here. Mackenzie's still one of the fittest men in the paddock. He is up for it mentally and physically, and we've just seen that. Steve
Plater's first year on a superbike, it's worth remembering as well.
It is indeed. So we're looking at the race leader. It's Neil Hodgson now. The lead he has is 1.46 seconds from Chris Walker in second place. So Neil Hodgson on a mission. Still the fastest lap was only on lap 2. So Neil Hodgson had put in a fast lap, couldn't quite break the toe on Chris Walker, but the significant thing is Hodgson has kept that pace up. He's still in the 122s. He has been throughout this race, whereas everyone else is in the 123s. It's only a subtle difference, but of course every second counts
and
when
you
it
get
comes to this game.
20 laps of it, of course. Multiply it up, you see a significant advantage. Well, it's all going his way so far. Pole position, fastest lap, and it looks, Keith, it looks as if 1.5 seconds as if he's got it under control.
Well, what you've got to bear in mind here, Julian, until we come to a pack of privateers to sort out, of course, as back markers, but the big thing here is Neil Hodgson sits on 25 points, John Reynolds sits back on 16, so that will put Hodgson within 1 point of striking John Reynolds' series lead, and that really will be a blow for the Rabbit. Right, Walker's team, that's Paul Denning, team owner of Crescent Suzuki, and below we have, of course, Colin Wright. Would you argue with this man? Here, Bosch, take that, boy.
It's not a man to be trifled with. Oh, look at Plater and Mackenzie now.
Yes, and
Hayden. Plater's just taken his place back. That's 4th place he's grabbed back.
I tell you, I like Steve Plater. If only to listen to his laugh. He has me rolling in the aisles when he's on it. Look, he's got to play. It's a Scotsman, another Scotsman. Hislop, well, would I like to see Steve Hislop get a result in Superbikes this year? He started the season in pre-season testing.
Oh, awesome.
Absolutely awesome. No one could get near his times in Cartagena in Spain as all. Light in the rear end up there was Plater on the Kawasaki. He got spat off at Snetterton and beaten up fairly badly. He obviously hasn't learned from that.
And neither's James Hayden, who looks very threatening as well in the blue Red Bull, the blue Red Bull Ducati is what I'm trying to say.
Hey,
Number 5.
Julian's got a tank slapper here in the commentary position. A good old motorcycling term for when you're out of control in a straight line. It should be easy, but Julian made it tough. So then, this is the battle for 4th place. With 8 laps left to go. Plater leads Mackenzie, leads Hayden, leads Hizzy, but not for long. Got Hizzy trying to squeeze around the outside.
Brave.
Let me get to the bar.
We're right above Woodcote Corner and watching him from this angle.
Oh, Mackenzie! Yes! Good on you. I'll make you proud. So, through goes Neil Mackenzie. He is, I'll tell you what, the enthusiasm this guy has for racing, you know, you'd think it would... Oh! It might run out after that. I was going to say, it might run out. I don't think so. So, Plater the young go. Oh, Mackenzie comes back at him.
Nice one, Neil. Oh, Neil!
Bit more of it through Ireland. Thank you very much. Well, he's not from Glasgow, but that was nearly a Glaswegian kiss, wasn't it?
Calm down, Neil.
Take that. On the back from Hoyk. You've got another Isle of Man resident now, moving across borders.
Isle of Man superhero, of course.
Of course.
Watch for Hayden.
Oh, Hayden has an... Oh! Hayden nearly rams aside of Neil Mackenzie. That will go down well.
And Hislop's thinking, well, what do I do here at the moment,
isn't he? Well, he might get 4th. These 3 wipe themselves out.
It's probably crossed his mind.
Just a recap in front of these. Hodgson, Walker, Reynolds, all well split and spread out now. So barring a mistake from Hodgson, Walker or Reynolds, they are going to be your top 3 at the end of the race. But this is the race on the track. The 4th place battle between Steve Plater, Neil Mackenzie, James Hayden and Steve Hislop. Behind them by 5 seconds, we've got John Crawford, the Suzuki teamster. He is out with a broken toe.
And you've got
might be a few more broken bits in a minute.
A Kawasaki, 2 Ducatis and a Yamaha this fight. All of them top-notch works machines, top-notch riders on them.
Well, certainly Steve Hislop has been the recipient of a big parcel of spares coming from Japan after Rob McElnay, the team owner, managed to part with a whole load of cash for some new, we got carved bodies and all sorts of bits and pieces, but I don't want to get technical. Julian does all that lot.
Oh, James!
James Hayden, take that. Girlfriend Jo will be craning her neck to see that one.
Definitely.
Through has come James Hayden then, and I tell you what, he's looking a bit businesslike now, so that might be a third and fourth for Red Bull GK.